6-0 in the finals versus 4-6. When Shaquille O'Neal drops this bomb on national television, the entire internet explodes. The Big Diesel just revealed something about facing Michael Jordan that changes the entire GOAT conversation forever. And what he said about LeBron and Kevin Durant has the basketball world in absolute chaos. But what happened next will blow your mind.
The secret nobody talks about. There's something that separates the legends from the all-time greats, and it's not what you think. It's not the championships, not the stats, not even the highlight reels that get millions of views. It's something darker, something psychological, something that lives in the minds of the players who had to face these titans on the biggest stage. When Shaquille O'Neal speaks about Michael Jordan, his voice changes. This is a man who dominated the paint like no other, a 7'1" force of nature who won 4 championships and 3 straight finals MVPs. Yet when he talks about MJ, there's a reverence in his words that you don't hear anywhere else. And in 2024, he finally opened up about the real reason why Jordan will forever stand alone at the top of the mountain. It all comes down to one word: fear. Shaq didn't just respect Michael Jordan, he feared him, and he's not alone. On the Big Podcast, Shaq made a statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball community. He said he's heard countless players from his era admit they feared Mike. He's heard the next generation say they feared Kobe. But here's the kicker: he's never heard a single player say they feared LeBron James. Let that marinate for a moment. We're talking about LeBron James, a 4-time champion, the all-time leading scorer, a physical specimen who's dominated for over 2 decades. And yet, according to Shaq, he doesn't inspire that same primal fear that Jordan did. That's not a shot at LeBron's greatness. It's a revelation about what made Jordan something different entirely. Shaq knows fear intimately because he lived through it. January 16, 1993, rookie Shaq versus the defending champion Chicago Bulls. Before the game even started, Shaq was terrified. Not nervous, not anxious, terrified. He kept telling himself 2 things: do your work, and whatever you do, don't let Michael Jordan dunk on you. Because if MJ posterized him, Shaq would never live it down. The barber shops, the family reunions, the streets, that poster would haunt him forever. During the game, there was a moment where Jordan came baseline. Shaq had to foul him hard. Not dirty, but hard enough to send a message: I'm not getting dunked on. When Shaq tried to help Jordan up, showing respect, MJ looked at him with ice-cold eyes and said something that still haunts Shaq to this day. Don't ever help nobody up. Great foul, but I don't need your help. I'm coming back, don't you worry. That wasn't trash talk. That was a promise, a threat wrapped in calm confidence. That's psychological warfare at its finest. If you're enjoying this deep dive into what makes Michael Jordan the undisputed GOAT, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. We're breaking down the truth that mainstream media won't tell you. Jordan dropped 64 points that night, with 5 steals. Shaq put up 29 and 24 boards, and the Magic actually won in overtime, 128-124. But Shaq didn't walk away feeling victorious. He walked away educated. He studied everything about Jordan that night, how the referees gave him respect, how his teammates hung on his every word, how Phil Jackson trusted him completely, and most importantly, how opponents looked at him with fear in their eyes. Shaq wanted that. He craved that same aura. Years passed, and in 2020, The Last Dance documentary hit Netflix. Millions watched it, but for Shaq, it was confirmation. Watching Jordan's obsessive, cutthroat mentality reminded him why MJ was different. It wasn't just about winning, it was about breaking your opponent's will. Jordan didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to destroy you mentally, so you'd never forget it. That's what greatness looks like when it's stripped down to its raw, unfiltered truth. The numbers game, Jordan wins. When Shaq appeared on the Dan Patrick Show, he laid it out plain and simple. The Last Dance proved what he already knew. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, and it's not even close. He praised Jordan's perfect 6-0 finals record and his ability to turn any group of players into champions through sheer force of will and leadership. But let's talk facts for a second, because the numbers back up everything Shaq is saying. When you compare Jordan's individual accolades to LeBron and KD combined, the gap is staggering. Michael Jordan has 10 scoring titles. LeBron and KD together, just 5. Jordan made the all-defensive first team 9 times, proving he dominated on both ends of the floor. LeBron and KD combined, only 5 total, and Durant has exactly 0. That's not a debate, that's domination. Even current NBA players recognize it. In a 2024 survey, 46% of players voted Jordan as the GOAT, compared to LeBron's 42%. Now that margin might seem close, but here's the reality. The players who actually experienced the Jordan era, who felt that fear firsthand, are retiring. The younger generation never witnessed him drop 63 on the Celtics in the playoffs, or hit 6 threes in a finals half and shrug like it was nothing. They don't understand the mythology because they weren't there to feel it. Shaq was there. He remembers every single detail. He studied Jordan like a scientist studying a phenomenon. He watched how the refs gave him every call, how teammates hung on his every word, how opponents wilted under his gaze. And Shaq wanted that. He craved that same aura.
Why Kevin Durant will never be the GOAT. Now here's where Shaq pulls no punches. While he respects LeBron's greatness and even includes him in the GOAT conversation, Kevin Durant, not even close. And Shaq's reasoning is brutal, logical, and impossible to argue against. Kevin Durant is an elite talent. Let's make that clear. 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, 1 regular season MVP, 4 scoring titles, and career averages of 27.3 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.4 assists. Add a 7-foot frame with guard skills and one of the purest jump shots ever, and you have one of the most unstoppable scorers in basketball history. But according to Shaq, none of that earns him a seat at the table with the true legends. Why? Because of one devastating truth Shaq dropped in 2024 that shook the entire sports world. You have to drive the bus. Kevin Durant is a great player, but he rode the bus. 8 simple words that expose everything. And when you look at the facts, it's impossible to disagree. July 2016. After choking away a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant made the most controversial decision in NBA history. He joined them. Not just any team, the team that embarrassed him, the team that had just won 73 games, the most in NBA history. A team stacked with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, 3 All-Stars who had already won a championship without him. Sure, the Warriors won back-to-back titles in 2017 and 2018, with Durant taking home Finals MVP both times. But here's the thing Shaq won't let anyone forget. KD didn't build that. He joined something that was already championship caliber. He didn't suffer through years of losing, grinding, and building a culture. He took the easiest road to a ring that any superstar has ever taken. And in Shaq's eyes, that disqualifies him from the GOAT conversation permanently. Compare that to the paths of true legends. Michael Jordan endured years of getting physically brutalized by the Detroit Pistons bad boys before finally breaking through. He was the undisputed leader, the heartbeat, the engine of the Bulls dynasty. LeBron James took heat for forming the Big Three in Miami, but he was still the best player on that team, the clear leader, the guy carrying the load. Kobe Bryant shared the court with Shaq, but was always evolving into the alpha, eventually winning 2 more championships as the undisputed leader in LA. Kevin Durant? He was never the clear number 1 on those Warriors teams. Many analysts argue he wasn't even the most important player. Curry was still the system. Draymond was the defensive anchor and emotional leader. KD was the luxury addition, the cheat code that made an already great team unbeatable. He wasn't driving the bus, he was sitting in the back enjoying the ride.
And Shaq hasn't backed down from this take. In 2025, he reiterated it again. Only Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James belong in the GOAT discussion. Kevin Durant's name doesn't even deserve to be mentioned. Because true greatness isn't about talent alone. It's about building something from nothing, being the unquestioned leader, and driving your team to glory when everyone doubts you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you agree with Shaq's brutal but honest take on Kevin Durant, and drop a comment below telling us where you rank KD all time. LeBron's confession changes everything. Here's where things get really interesting. The most damning evidence in this entire debate doesn't come from Shaq, analysts, or even the stats. It comes straight from LeBron James himself. And what he said over the years might be the most powerful argument for why Jordan stands alone. From the moment LeBron entered the NBA as an 18-year-old in 2003, he's been compared to Michael Jordan. Every game, every highlight, every championship run measured against the GOAT. And through it all, LeBron has never hidden his admiration for MJ. He's made it clear time and time again that Jordan isn't just a rival to surpass, he's the blueprint, the standard, the measuring stick for greatness. Their first meeting happened in 2001 when LeBron was only 16 years old, already the most hyped high school player in American history. When asked what it felt like to meet Michael Jordan for the first time, LeBron's answer was stunning. It was like meeting God for the first time. Think about that. LeBron James, who's now the all-time leading scorer, a four-time champion, and a living legend himself, compared meeting Jordan to meeting God. Not a hero, not an inspiration, God. That's the level of reverence he has for MJ. In 2009, LeBron opened up about his childhood obsession with Jordan. He didn't just watch him, he became him. He copied every single detail. The fadeaway jumpers, the leg sleeve folded down to show the red part, the black and red shoes with white socks, even the short shorts that showed his compression gear underneath. This wasn't a competitor studying an opponent. This was a disciple worshiping at the altar of greatness. In 2012, LeBron went even further. He publicly called for Michael Jordan's number 23 to be retired league-wide, not just in Chicago, everywhere. He said, if you see 23, you think of Michael Jordan, and no player should ever wear it again. That's not just respect, that's acknowledging someone is above everyone else, untouchable, immortal.
Now, LeBron's confidence has grown over the years. After the 2016 finals, where he led the Cavaliers back from a 3-1 deficit against the 73-win Warriors, he admitted that series made him feel like the greatest player of all time. But even then, even at his peak confidence, LeBron has never fully claimed the throne. After winning his fourth championship with the Lakers in 2020, reporters asked him about being the GOAT. His response? Y'all can do the debates. Y'all can figure that out. That's not a man who believes he's past Jordan. That's a man who respects the weight of MJ's shadow too much to claim superiority. And here's the most revealing part. In 2013, LeBron admitted that his biggest obstacle has always been fear. He said Michael Jordan's greatest quality was that he was never afraid to fail. That's a confession. LeBron, the most physically dominant player of his generation, admitted that fear held him back in ways it never held Jordan back. That's not a debate anymore. That's LeBron himself acknowledging Jordan had something he doesn't. The personal bond that proves everything. Shaq doesn't call Michael Jordan the GOAT because of stats. He calls him the GOAT because he lived it. He faced Jordan 21 times over his career, including brutal playoff battles. Jordan's teams went 12-9 in those matchups, but the record doesn't tell the story. What stuck with Shaq was the fear, the mental warfare, the relentless pressure that MJ brought every single night. Shaq has shared countless stories that define his respect for Jordan, like when MJ got knocked down with a hard foul, pushed away his teammates trying to help him up, and calmly promised revenge. That wasn't anger, that was controlled fury. That's the type of mental edge that breaks opponents before the game even ends.
Jordan also knew how to get in Shaq's head. He'd target Shaq's biggest weakness, free throws. He'd make comments, get in his ear, and exploit that insecurity because he understood basketball was as much mental as it was physical. That's psychological dominance that few players have ever mastered. Even when Shaq's Magic beat Jordan's Bulls in the 1995 playoffs, 4-2, the story didn't end there. A year later, Jordan came back locked in, swept Orlando 4-0, and won another championship. That's how legends respond to losses. They don't make excuses, they come back stronger and make you pay for embarrassing them. Off the court, Shaq and Jordan's relationship deepened. Shaq calls him his big brother and credits MJ with teaching him life lessons about discipline, leadership, and mental toughness that went far beyond basketball. That bond evolved from fear and intimidation to mutual respect and love. And that's why Shaq defends Jordan so fiercely. It's not just about basketball, it's personal. The final truth. So where does this leave us? Shaq's fear factor argument cuts deeper than any stat sheet ever could. Kevin Durant's championships carry an asterisk because he rode the bus instead of driving it. LeBron James, in his own words, still reveres Michael Jordan as the ultimate standard. And through all the debates, arguments, and narratives, Jordan's name remains the one that every generation, including his rivals, can't help but bow to. The GOAT debate will rage on forever. New stars will rise, fans will cherry-pick stats, social media will keep the fire burning. But when a legend like Shaquille O'Neal, someone who battled Jordan on the court and learned from him off it, says Michael Jordan is and always will be the greatest, that carries a weight no algorithm or analytics model can measure. What makes Shaq's perspective even more powerful is his humility. Shaq could argue for himself. He won 3 straight finals MVPs, tying Jordan's record. He led the league in field goal percentage 10 times. Teams had to invent the hack-a-Shaq strategy just to slow him down because there was no other way to stop him. And yet, Shaq never puts himself in Jordan or LeBron's tier. That tells you everything about his standard for greatness. Shaq's standard isn't about potential or talent, it's about what you build, how you lead, and who you inspire. That's why Kevin Durant doesn't make the cut. KD has elite talent, but he never built a dynasty. He joined one. And that choice, no matter how many points he scores, disqualifies him from the conversation about true greatness. The generational divide is real. Younger fans defend LeBron because he's their Jordan. Some defend KD's versatility and skill. But the ones who lived through the Jordan era, who felt the collective fear every time number 23 touched the ball in crunch time, they know something stats can't capture. They remember the fear. They remember watching a man who didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to break you, humiliate you, and make sure you never forgot it. Jordan's greatness wasn't just physical, it was mental warfare. And that's why even LeBron admitted in 2013 that fear was his biggest obstacle, something Jordan never dealt with. When your greatest rival admits you had a psychological advantage they never matched, that's not a debate, that's an acknowledgement of supremacy. For Shaq, greatness means more than numbers and highlights. It means fear, mentality, and the power to make even legends respect your throne. LeBron knows it, Shaq lived it, and maybe it's time everyone else accepts it too. The GOAT debate makes for entertaining talk shows and viral clips, but when the legends who actually battled at the highest level speak their truth, the verdict is clear. Michael Jordan stands alone, not because of rings or stats, but because of something deeper, something primal, something that can't be measured. He made the greatest players in the world fear him, and that's a legacy no one will ever touch. Thanks for watching this breakdown of why Shaq believes Michael Jordan is the undisputed GOAT. If you want more deep dives into basketball's greatest debates and untold stories, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below and let us know who's your GOAT and why. Let's keep this conversation going.